G'day folks, it's Rob here and welcome to our small little backyard farm and aquaponics YouTube channel. I was hoping to have a aquaponics freebie video out for you folks to have a look at this week, but unfortunately the temps have just been too high and my computer's struggling processing it. So what I thought I'd do for my normal weekend clip, even though it's going to be a bit late, is I'll just take you for a quick whip around some of the things that are happening here and some of the things I've been up to. So here we go. Just to bring you up to speed, we had the callistemon tree growing between our place and the neighbours cut down. It was actually the majority of it growing on their side of the yard and they wanted to put a fence in, so it came down. But I've decided to mulch up all the branches that we can to use around the property here. So one job I've been slowly knocking off this week is just mulching up all the greenery, or it's now brown, that came from the callistemon tree or bottle brush over there. I'm saving a little bit of wood for our own little brazier through winter. We might make some potash out of it. And this is the mulch that I've been making. Now the idea behind this is we'll spread this little pile out all over this area here after we remove mother moringa tree, that is. And yeah, we'll just use it as a bit of a mulch to suppress the weeds around this area. So I've only been doing about an hour or so every afternoon because it has been rather hot. My back's been playing up a bit, so. But that's all good because I'm off to the doctor next week. Other things that are going on, well, I did chop back the banana. I think I may have mentioned that in another clip. I've just taken off the two large suckers. As you can see, this one here is sprouting again. I'm not too worried about that because the bulk of the nutrition will now be going into, or nutrients I should say, will be now going into that bunch hopefully. Well, that's the plan anyway. I did plan out a whole heap, sow out a whole heap of carrots and scarrot in here. I think I showed them on a recent clip. They came up really well, had a nice little germination rate, and then this hot weather has just absolutely fried them. I have nothing left in here whatsoever, so I think I might hold off until things cool down a bit before I sow out any more carrot or scarrot seed. So that's a little bit disappointing. I did, partly my fault, I left the shea cloth off for a little while one day and it just dried out the top so fast. Yeah, pretty much was the death nail for them. Just down here with the aquaponics, these fish are looking alright. Haven't dropped the camera in today, so I'll drop that in after I finish here. So I did drop the camera into the tank and I thought I'd give you folks a bit of a quick look before we move on. I couldn't find the fish in there that had the infection on the tail, so I'm fairly confident that it's healed up well and all the others look perfectly healthy as well. So fingers are crossed, we're pretty much all over the bacterial infection we had in the aquaponics system. Down here on the grow bed side of things, there's a couple of plants that don't look too happy with the amount of salt in the system. For a start, this cucumber has just, really not flourishing, that's for sure. I've actually realised that the stem itself is splitting in a few places. So hopefully the next generation, if they survive, will, take its place. And just over on this side over here, I popped in a little cutting of a green Malabar spinach. Hopefully that'll take up this side here. I'm actually going to put a couple of bits of baling twine down there for it to climb up. Other plants like the kangkong are doing well. It's being attacked by the little flea beetles. Let's see if we can find a couple. Oh, they just jumped off on me. They're like a little metallic beetle. Look similar in shape to a ladybug, but a lot smaller. They just come along and do a lot of this pockmarky damage to the surface of the leaves. Still edible, but yeah, doesn't look too appetizing. I think the salt has affected the celery a fair bit, and also to the oregano or oregano. I've topped up all the other nutrients in the bed that I can. Pretty much we're just putting it down to the salt. I mean, some things like this Owen Knock, we've harvested quite a bit of that through the week. It seems to be fine. So does the mushroom herb and the Malabar spinach. The dill, we've taken a few branches off it, but it's starting to fold over a little bit. I just noticed a caterpillar in there, so we'll squish you. The beetroot still looking modelly, and we're starting to see a little bit of mite damage, I think. So I might just pull the beetroot out of the system, as I see it's affected by mites. I really don't want to have to battle them again. One of the victims of the salt was the strawberry. Finally last week, actually at the beginning of this week, one plant just up and died overnight. And this one here isn't looking too happy either. We're going to get, 2 strawberries out of it maybe. A little bit disappointing, but I did think it was going to happen with the amount of salt in there. And it actually looks like the thyme isn't too happy with the salt either. Thyme normally is a little bit salt tolerant, but yeah, this time around it just looks like it's a bit too much for it. Some of the turmeric and the ginger as well are getting little yellow spots on them. So I'm thinking if I see no more signs of infection on the fish, what I'll end up doing is dumping some of the water from the system, just putting it out on the lawn and around the lime tree. It won't be too salty, and yeah, topping it up with some fresh water to try and bring some of that salt level down. Just to show you up here, the Kajari melon in the root pouch garden at the back stairs is still producing. Once we harvested the last load of fruit off there, it's put on another 5, so we've bagged them up. We're also starting to see a few snake beans come through. There's one down there we missed, but we've got a couple there to harvest today, a few more coming through. And up around here are the other Kajaris I've bagged up. There's number 2, number 3, number 4 and number 5. The leaves are looking a little bit ratty. They've been attacked by caterpillars, but not too bad. The plant's still hanging in there. It does need a bit of a feed, so I might pop around with the watering can and give everything a liquid feed a bit later when it cools down. And I've just got some spare socks there in case we get some more fruit form on there. Just around the side of the house at the wicking root pouch garden, I actually just filled it up because I realised it was empty. Things like the pineapple have gone burko. Now things have started to warm up. Well, actually they've been warm for a while. We've got a couple of seed pods on the curry tree bin, so looking forward to see how the seeds go. I did notice just before, as I was filling it up, that we have a sucker or a shoot coming from the rootstock of the Tahitian lime. Sorry, not the Tahitian, the native finger lime here. So I'll come out in a little while and snip it off. You don't want the rootstock to shoot and, you know, rob all the nutrients from the plant you're trying to get to fruit. The Kaffir lime, there's some big fruit down on there that I really do need to pull off. And the fig, the little dwarf fig, has been doing really well. We've got a little fruit forming there, and I've noticed quite a few on different small ones forming on different branches, so looking forward to those guys. I think it helps when yeah, you feed the pouches up a little bit, as I've mentioned before. Over here, the pawpaw, these guys are starting to get a little bit of colour on them, so this one here will have to come off very soon. We eat them green here. The other ones down at the back stairs have been feeding bats because I didn't get it off fast enough for Dad, so I'm not a big fan of the ripe pawpaw, or papaya, sorry. Yes, Americans, this is a papaya. We call them pawpaw here in Australia. We're just down the back again, folks, because I wanted to show you my Tahitian lime. It's doing really well. We've been taking off probably 2 to 3 limes every week to 2 weeks. There's another little one just over in there. It looks like he's almost ready to come off too. But what's really surprised me is how well the fruit are going from the last flush of flowers. Now, I've been trying to feed this tree up so it looks absolutely beautiful, nice dark green leaves, but every time I do that, the following flower flush that we get doesn't appear to set many fruit. This time round, I've pretty much all just neglected it. As you can see, the leaves aren't looking too healthy. There's a fair bit of mottling on the leaves, but the fruit appears to be sticking to the tree. Normally they grow to probably about 1/3 this size and then fall off, but this time round it looks like we're going to have a lot more that develop into mature fruit. So from now on, all I'm going to do to feed this old lady up is pop some well-aged compost or horse manure under there, mulch it up, and that's pretty much all it. I figure there's, you know, we've got clay soil down there about 1.5 to 2 foot below the soil level, so it's going to be jam-packed full of minerals, and if I can, you know, just feed the soil microorganisms, they'll eventually make enough nutrients plant available for this deer. So yeah, I'm really impressed with the amount of fruit we have on here. And I notice we have one that's trying to go for a bit of a swim in the pond. So there's a couple more around this side here as well. Yeah, so I'm pretty much all just going to leave this deer alone. I might hop up there and take off some of the new shoots from where I pruned it back a while ago. But other than that, yeah, just going to leave her alone. So I hope you have enjoyed that little bit of a wander through the patch and a bit of a quick gander at the aquaponics and what's going on there, folks. Hopefully I'll have the free aquaponics clip, well, freebie aquaponics clip, that's what I'm sort of calling it for the time being. Hopefully I'll have that finished by Wednesday as time permits. I'm just having problems with the amount of small little edits and cuts I'm adding in there. My computer's just not handling it as well as it used to. It's getting a little bit long in the tooth, so small little files like the ones that are shot on the phone camera, they're nothing. The editing equipment just chews through that, so not too concerned there. Just a quick thank you to Pierre, who popped around yesterday. G'day mate, it was fantastic meeting you and chatting about the aquaponics in the garden. He's one of our supporters on Patreon there, and yeah, a top bloke. Hope the house sells quick and you can move on to your block very soon, mate. Also too, feel free to share this clip around with your friends in the Northern Hemisphere. I hear some people are under a couple of feet of snow, so yeah, it might lift their spirits to see some greenery and also a bit of sun shining through. If you have found this clip to be interesting or helpful in any way, feel free to click on my hairy little mug down there and subscribe, and check the little bell icon once it appears, and you'll be sent a notification every time I upload a clip to our YouTube channel. You can come along and say g'day. I do hope you're all well and happy and your aquaponic systems and gardens are booming, no matter how you grow, and I will catch you next clip. Cheers all.